Hey everyone, welcome back to another YouTube episode. Today's YouTube episode is all about how to become a professional artist all by yourself. In 2013, I decided from one day to another that I want to become a professional artist. Main problem was I couldn't draw, I couldn't paint, I couldn't design. Since this happened, I've worked 7 years in games, movies, commercials. And these days I teach people in one-on-one sessions to achieve the same thing while working on their art fundamentals, building a professional portfolio, all up to getting hired by a company. I will also provide personal tips for structuring yourself and also general tips. So let's go. The problem. First, we need to identify what is it that we want to do, which is, of course, becoming a professional artist. But what does it actually mean? Entering the industry, or actually to get paid as an artist, has a lot of requirements. And here are just a few. Starting with artistic skills, such as strong foundation in drawing, painting, design, sculpting. Technical proficiency, such as expertise in industry standard software, like Photoshop, Maya, Blender, ZBrush. Creativity and innovation. The ability to create unique and engaging designs. The attention to detail, such as ensuring high quality polished work. Not to forget things such as time management. The ability to meet tight deadlines. So if you have 5 days, you're able to finish the work in 5 days. And these are just a few requirements. Depending on what career you're going to choose, you also will have to deal with daily tasks. For example, in the concept art creation process, you will have to develop initial sketches or illustrations. You also have to visualize characters, environments, or props, or even other elements. If you decide to become a 3D modeler, you obviously build a lot of 3D objects, which are based on the concepts provided by the concept department. You will also collaborate a lot with people, working in teams, wherever you choose to work. You will also have to revision and give feedback, making changes or getting feedback, giving valuable feedback is also very important. So these are things that we need to be able to do. I'm not done yet. We also have key contributions we have to do over the day. Anything from the vision and the style, bringing a distinctive artistic vision that aligns with the project and narrative of the aesthetic of the project, or general problem solving, finding creative solutions to visual challenges, maintaining a coherent visual style through the project. We also are always collaborating. So sometimes we are also try to enhance the general team productivity and the project through effective teamwork. You also can be a motivator for others. You can infuse the team with creative energy and inspire innovative approaches. Some of these mentioned things are categorized in hard and soft skills. What is really important that most of these hard skills you already need to have before trying to get the job. And I want to repeat that. You need to have them already. Some of the soft skills you can also technically have a bit, but you can also learn them on the job, such as working better in a team or to become a strong communicator. And I can also tell you a personal story. When I joined my first big company, over 200 people for the first time, I had to learn to become a better communicator to my producers, to my art director, but also to my peers in my team. I always thought I would be a great communicator, but I wasn't. So I had to improve that soft skill. To this point, you maybe realized becoming a professional artist does not only require to paint and draw well. The intention. Okay, all great, but where to start? No worries. I got you. First, we should analyze and digest information. What do I need to be able to do? So I'm talking about hard skills, of course. I need to have strong art fundamentals. And when I mean strong, I mean rock solid. What solid means, let's say little room for errors. A big problem I often see in portfolio reviews that people apply too early for jobs with too weak portfolios. They maybe have the pressure by their family or they put the pressure on themselves. But what you need to understand is that the job you might to get requires a lot of skill and consistency. The other issue I also see is that portfolios often are just a big mix of images that have nothing to do with each other. And they also display a big inconsistency in quality. And the opposite is exactly what you need to display: consistent quality. I have an example. Imagine you want to buy furniture and you have 3 carpenters to choose that build your furniture. The first one has 20 pieces in their portfolio. 1 or 2 are good chairs, but the rest are all crooked and wonky. The second one has 30 pieces, and each is a different piece of furniture, but they're all kind of like crooked and wonky. And the last one has only 10 pieces. All of these have medium to good or even great quality. Which one would you choose? The last one, of course. And this is what studios are doing when they hire people. Sometimes studios open job positions or opportunities just for 1 seat. And you have over 1,000 applications. Who will get a job? Well, it's kind of hard to tell because a solid portfolio is just the first hurdle. Back in the days, we needed to do artst, which were kind of like a double checking if that's really the quality you bring to the table. But also they will interview you to see if you are easy to talk to. Are you a nice person? And can you communicate well enough? So they want to see if you have the potential to become a long-term hire so they can invest in you. So a valid question is when to know that I'm ready. A good thing is always to watch out for art events where you can approach other professionals or even go to a recruitment talk. These recruitment talks can give you a hard and harsh feedback on your work, but that's what you should look for. If you already have a company in mind that you want to work for, it is always good to check out what their current artists produce and compare the quality of that work to your work, because this is a good indicator if you are good enough yet. You technically need to be able to replicate that quality, but you also need to be able to bring that quality in the given timeline to the table. Here's a little tip. Go on LinkedIn. Make a professional looking profile. And this is not a scam method, so please do make a professional looking profile. And then go to company sites if they have a LinkedIn profile. There you can often see other artists currently working for this company. What you then can do, you can write them a mail over LinkedIn where you introduce yourself in a nice way and also say, I am interested in working for the exact same company, and also ask them some questions about the company. So you show interest. In most cases, people are very nice and they do respond. In most cases, it will be rewarded with valid information. So what to do when we don't meet expected quality of work? Structuring your day, month or year is not easy. And in most cases, you can just do that for you. I learned over the last 4 years writing plans, teaching people in these one-on-one sessions and writing plans for them, that not every plan works the same for everyone. For some people, it works perfectly to work 1 to 2 hours a day, every day. Some need something in between. Some need to take a rest in between. Some also want to work 6 to 8 hours until they can't no more. It has a lot to do with personality and life circumstances. Do you have kids? Do you have a dog? Do you have a job? Do you have any part-time jobs or any other responsibilities? Do you spend your time playing video games or other activities? I once saw an interview with Stephen King where someone asked him how did he write so many books? And he replied, I just make sure to write 6 pages every day without rating them. That made me trying to go into find my personal perfect focus time. It took me years to realize that I don't have to kill myself every day over 8 hours of drawing and then punish myself if I don't do that the next day. Instead, my magic sauce these days are actually 3 hours of focus time every day, which add up to 20 hours per week, which are 80 hours per month, which if we put it in perspective to everything else we do in a month is actually a lot, considering we just talk about drawing. But, and it's a big but, we talk about pure focus time. So no games, no phone, no other distractions. What I also learned and what helped most of my students is trying to build a routine that reflects the routine of a professional artist. So in order to become a professional artist, you have to behave like one. Every time you go into your focus time, you take it 100% seriously. Every time you go to work, it has a purpose. Don't mistake this for doodle time. I don't say you can't have any doodle time. I say do 30 minutes of doodling then go into 3 hours of focus time. And afterwards, you can reward yourself with whatever you want. If it's more painting, more drawing, reading a book, or any other entertainment. At the end, it's important that you stick to going through your 3 hours of focus time, because you will have good days where you exceed that, and you will have bad days, of course. We are human beings, and we have to bring that and take that into the general equation. I'm also a big believer in rewarding yourself. So you should reward yourself for taking the task on a daily basis. It is not only very valid and good for your mental health, it is also very good for your general discipline. In my first days, I was basically trying everything. I would do a concept painting, I would try to draw a character, or even to design a scene. But my problem was that I was lacking in fundamental and the things I needed to be able to do in order to reach my desired goal, which means theoretically, knowledge of something does not mean you can practically execute that well. Theoretically, I'm a hell of a golfer, but in practicality, I suck. Be aware that knowing does not mean doing. That's why we always need to digest information through practice. If I would start all over, I would always choose to start with a strong focus on drawing and perspective, because they are the core and base of everything, or all visual communication. I also want to give you an example that you maybe can try. Imagine you have a weekly chart. You spend 1 week, 3 hours a day with one main topic, such as perspective. So Monday you start with basic perspective practice, such as drawing vanishing lines and horizon lines. Tuesday you do basic 3-dimensional forms, such as cubes, cylinders, cones, you name it. Wednesday, you start to complexify these forms. So you start to bevel them, round them up, and make them more complex. Thursday, you try to draw real-life object, which you can have in your household or from a photo. But it needs to be the same way as you drew the complex forms the day before. Friday, you try to place different objects in a scene together. And Saturday, you try to redraw everything you drew the whole week from imagination again. On Sunday, you reevaluate, which means you look at the outcome of the week and you're going to plan the next week ahead, and you take a bit of rest. The next week, you change the main topic to painting, to design, to anatomy. It's important that you not only focus on one specific area, especially if you're in the beginning. You do that for a year and you will see what crazy progress you're going to have. This also gives you the power of controlling what you do, how you do it, and where you want to go with it. When you reach a solid foundation of these skills, your axe is maybe sharp enough to chop some wood. And I'm not talking about chopping actually wood. I'm talking about working on portfolio projects. Doing these portfolio projects bring another difficulty to the table, which is entertainment. And yes, I want to scream it out loud. Entertainment. Because people just forget, or they don't care. Or they wonder why after 50 applications they still don't get a job, even they have a solid base in fundamental skills. Well, maybe the things you create are not entertaining enough, which could be the lack of ideas you are displaying, not enough design solving, or no designs at all. Or maybe you don't spend enough time in preparing your project before you start your project, because you need a solid foundation before you actually jump into something. What you should try to do is just putting a little bit of your soul into every project, so it becomes something that reflects your skill, but it also reflects you. I also want to say something here which is maybe not a very popular opinion, but it is my opinion. If you draw an elephant, it is not a creature design. If you draw a man in a military uniform, it is maybe not necessarily a character design, just a display of a uniform. But if you add an interesting component, such making him a mud soldier fighting with a cool mud weapon, then this becomes an interesting twist in a project that is, on the other hand, entertaining to your audience and is part of your story. And this is a very important part. You have to consider that people looking at your work, they are your audience. They look at your stuff because they like it and we want them to liking it. But how do we make that without looking in their heads? We focus on the things we find cool and then we display it in a very cool manner. This is what entertainment design means. Entertainment and design. Design problem solving, entertaining. All right, I just wanted to make that clear. So what you need to understand is that just by drawing or painting a single image, you communicate maybe wrong intentions or maybe no intentions or context whatsoever. Putting it into a project, on the other hand, makes it better to sell to your audience or any audience, which is obviously part of this industry. That means core idea, main problem to solve with designs, or the intention of context images that also showcase your skill. So we want to think about a nice package overall. If you look at everything I just told you from far, on a theoretical part, does not sound too crazy, right? Actually, it is pretty simple. You need solid skills, some basic soft skills. You need to make sure to present yourself, and then you have to show the world you are there, right? So you have these 4 steps. Of course, we have to consider that these 4 steps maybe take us 4 to 5 years. So, solution. But at the end, it is still a complex task and there is no way around it. So you have to draw a lot, you have to plan a lot, you have to paint a lot. It maybe takes you 4 to 5 years and it always depends on your environment. And I also want to mention this because I find it's a very important point, especially if you're on your own. Building a healthy circle or seeking a community that encourages but also motivates and supports you is super helpful. The hardest part for me back in the day wasn't the mental discipline. It wasn't the financial support because I always had a part-time job. No, it was having no people with similar or the same goals around me. It can be simple as having one single friend on Discord who I share my art with and we giving each other feedback, valuable feedback to motivate each other and build each other up because it's a very daunting task. So look out for online communities. Back in the day, we had these sketchbook forums where everyone would post a drawing or something they did the day before in these forums. And this would lead to a lot of motivation that you also would produce every day because you wanted to have something to show. The same can work for you on a Discord server where you invite your friends. If you don't find a community, build your own. You technically only need one person cheering for you. The dream scenario, you go through this character arc of a training program. You get leaded by this gray-haired senpai who time to time yell at you, shows you tough love, but you're moving forward. Led actually me to start with one-on-one teaching or art mentoring in 2020, so 4 years ago. And these days you find mentorships literally on every corner. And if you're interested in these type of things, go on their website, check out what their students are producing, because that's always a good indicator of what to expect. Of course, not every great artist is a good teacher and not every good teacher is a great artist. At the end, you just have to try. Of course, not everyone has the money to do one-on-one training. And I also did it myself without any one-on-one training. I do believe you can do that too. I made a PDF with all the informations from today's episode, including guides, priority matrix, and also a weekly table in order to plan your weeks. If you want this PDF or other rewards, maybe consider to become one of our YouTube members. Good luck with your career. I'm pretty sure you're going to rock this and make sure to subscribe. See you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.